Searchers, directed by John Ford, has been acclaimed as a masterpiece in the art of Western movie making. It's the story of a relentless quest to rescue a young girl abducted by the Apaches and to return her to her family. Towards the end of the film, in this poignant scene, Natalie Wood is finally welcomed into the arms of her uncle, played by John Wayne.
Let's go home, Debbie.
This cave in Bronson Canyon was and still is a filmmaker's favorite. It's been used more than any other natural location in all of Los Angeles. It is only 5 minutes from Hollywood and Vine. Of all the stars who appeared in Westerns, one stood out as a larger-than-life figure on screen and off. His name was Marion Michael Morrison. The world would come to know him as John Wayne. His friends called him Duke. I can't count the number of John Wayne Westerns I saw when I was a young buckaroo. The way he took care of the bad guys was enough to earn the respect of every kid and most of the grown-ups in the audience. There was also something else that Duke communicated to moviegoers that made them believe in him. Whatever the movie was, he invested a part of himself that the audience trusted. They seemed to sense certain qualities: loyalty, honesty, honor, decency. John Wayne's appeal is a monumental achievement in movie history. Wayne said about himself, "I don't really act, I react." And that's damn hard work. He added, "I always play John Wayne. I'm Wayne the cowboy, regardless of the role and how I'm dressed. All I can do is sell sincerity, and I've been selling the hell out of it ever since I started."
I mean to kill you in 1 minute, Ned, or see you hanged in Fort Smith at Judge Parker's convenience. Which'll it be?
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch!
John Wayne's Oscar-winning performance in True Grit has been a long time coming. Earlier, he had whispered to presenter Barbra Streisand 2 words: beginner's luck. Marion Michael Morrison is born in 1907 in Winterset, Iowa. But his life changes forever when, at the age of 5, he and his family moved to Southern California. During summers off from his football scholarship at USC, Morrison begins working on movie sets, starting off as a prop man, stuntman, and wrangler. In 1928, he meets director John Ford, who casts him as an extra and later as a bit player. On Ford's recommendation, Morrison lands his first starring role in an early epic Western, The Big Trail. The untrained 22-year-old, now known as John Wayne, tries his best.
I got some good news for you.
What?
I'm gonna be away for a while. I'm going scouting.
Wasn't that dangerous in the open country?
Lord, no. I love it. But I reckon I'm gonna be lonely this time. But I'll be thinking of you. Goodbye.
Unfortunately, The Big Trail is a big disaster, and Wayne, through no fault of his own, is condemned to an endless string of low-budget B movies for the next 10 long years.
Well, buddy, let's go see what all this ruckus is about.
Duke appears in a string of these horse operas, as many as 9 in a single year. He keeps getting work, but his career is going nowhere. He's married with 3 children to feed, and a terrible feeling that he'll be trapped forever in the kind of quickie westerns he describes as each one lousier than the last. But he hangs in there. His luck changes in 1938 when director John Ford gives his friend Duke a leading role in a major movie, Stagecoach. Co-starring Claire Trevor, it's the big break that John Wayne has been waiting for.
Your help.
Thank you, sir.
After 10 years and 70 movies, finally, John Wayne becomes a full-fledged star. At a time when westerns are out of fashion, Stagecoach is a surprise hit with its dynamic, large-scale action. The success of Stagecoach launches a whole new cycle of well-crafted, big-budget westerns. Today, this film is considered a milestone in movie history. Director John Ford, whom Wayne calls Coach or Pappy, will remain a close friend for life. They spend vacations together on fishing trips, occasionally joined by other stars in Ford's retinue, like Henry Fonda. Another member of the group is Ward Bond, who would appear in more Ford movies than any other actor. For Wayne, Ford becomes a mentor who would continually reinvigorate Duke's career and elevate him to new levels of critical acclaim.
Right back toes! Yo!
After World War II, Wayne teams up with Ford in a trilogy of nostalgic yet exciting movies about the U.S. cavalry. Each film brings further accolades to both men, but the most highly regarded is She Wore a Yellow Ribbon.
Sir, a small token from the troop.
In the film, Wayne plays Captain Nathan Brittles, a dedicated cavalryman who is about to retire. Critics acclaim his performance, and Wayne will later say that this is his favorite role.
To Captain Brittles from C Troop. Lest we forget.
In 1956, Wayne and Ford joined forces again. The result is the memorable Western, The Searchers. As the bitter, Indian-hating Ethan Edwards, Wayne gives one of his strongest performances.
I found him. I found Lucy. They're camped about a half mile over.
What you saw was a buck wearing Lucy's dress. I found Lucy back in the canyon. Wrapped her in my coat. Buried her with my own hands. Thought it best to keep it from you.
Oh. Did they? What was she?
What do you want me to do? Draw you a picture? Spell it out?
Don't ever ask me. As long as you live, don't ever ask me more.
John Wayne would spend an unprecedented 25 years in the box office top 10. John Ford would be hailed as the greatest director of westerns that Hollywood has ever known. The chemistry between these two unique talents would produce a body of work that may never be surpassed. After Ford's retirement, John Wayne would go on to star in a dozen more Western films, embellishing the indelible image he had created for moviegoers around the world.
Now, we'll all calm down.
Boss, he's just a little excited.
I know. I'm going to use good judgment. I haven't lost my temper in 40 years. But, Pilgrim, you caused a lot of trouble this morning. Might have got somebody killed. And somebody ought to belt you in the mouth. But I won't. I won't. The hell I won't.
Well, I don't favor talking to vermin, but I'll talk to you just this once.
Mr. Chisholm, that sounds like a threat.
Wrong word. Fact.
Good morning, Daddy.
Daddy?
I am moved by your faith in someone you haven't seen since he was 16 years old. Daddy.
Well, son, since you haven't learned to respect your elders, it's time you learn to respect your betters. Oh. Oh. You can call me Father, you can call me Jacob, you can call me Jake, you can call me a dirty son of a bitch. But if you ever call me daddy again, I'll finish this fight. Someday.
In one of his final films, Rooster Cogburn, Katharine Hepburn gave us a perfect summation of the Wayne legend.
Reuben, I have to say it. Living with you has been an adventure any woman would relish for the rest of time. I look at you with your burnt-out face and your big belly and your bear-like paws and your shining eye. And I have to say, you're a credit to the whole male sex, and I'm proud to have you for my friend.
I'll be damned if she didn't get the last word in again. Well...
The 22-year-old in The Big Trail would go on to star in over 150 films. In an extraordinary career that would span 50 years, he would play other roles in other kinds of films, but it's the image of John Wayne, the man of the West, that will always come to mind. Honest, loyal, self-reliant, the embodiment of the American hero. The name of John Wayne has entered into our lexicon as a synonym for strength and patriotism. His life and his achievements were honored by a special congressional medal. It was engraved simply, John Wayne, American.
Stay tuned for the biggest barroom brawl in movie history.